comes from our love scriptures. This one is our lovingly called our pink books, Giving and Forgiving, and these are channeled messages from Jesus through the brotherhood of the followers of the present Jesus, as a group of sensitive that we follow. And anyway, what Jesus tells us in this book is, how many doors have I knocked on at which did not open? Yet this does not discourage me, for I know other opportunities present themselves from time to time. In your work, I would have you know that there is also true. This is also true. So there is no need for discouragement at any point along the way. Love your way through it, and many doors will open wide. And those who read my messages will welcome them with open arms and a big smile. Children of my heart, I love you beyond compare. You could not comprehend in your life experience this love which I have for you. You are the epitome of universality. You are the fragrance of living. You are the one in the eternal. I bless each one of you. For I know, even as I love you, this same love shall be yours. And you shall love too in this capacity, a love beyond compare as you know it now. Think not that I came into this place to flatter you. This is my true heart. Believe me with all your heart. Conceive of it with all your mental capacities. Accept it and see how you shall grow. These doors are waiting for your entrance. God bless you, and proceed living in truth. Thank you. And we say thank you, Jesus, for your words of wisdom. Our speaker this morning has been with the teaching a whole bunch of years. I don't remember how many, but she has been here for a long time. She has been a leader teacher, a prayer therapist, an inner Christ counselor, a teacher. She has been many things for the teaching of the inner Christ. And I asked her this morning to tell me something that I could share with you that we don't know about. And she told me that she is a great lover of, it went away, a great lover of science fiction, and she especially likes the book Dune. And it's been made into a movie, but it's a series of books. And I lost the author there, sorry about that. But anyway, she likes those kinds of things, and maybe she can tell us a little bit more about that later. But please help me welcome, speaking to us on this Palm Sunday, He is Coming. Please help me welcome Cathryne Bruce Johnson, our guest speaker for today.
Thank you, Reverend Marianne Kelley. What a joy today. We're at Palm Sunday, and we're looking at Palm Sunday, He is coming. Who is coming? Well, Jesus, our inner Christ self, our Christ nature, which is already here. Today for Palm Sunday, I want to look at Holy Week, and I want to look at some of the metaphysical meanings behind the story of Holy Week. In Western Christianity, Holy Week is the sixth and the last week of Lent. It's a time preparing for the resurrection of Jesus on Easter Day. And it's usually begins with Palm Sunday through the Saturday before Easter. And the material that I'm presenting today, I was so excited to come across it, was actually by Sandy Souter. She is a licensed Unity teacher for Unity Worldwide Ministries, and there is an alignment with Unity and the teaching of the inner Christ, in that we are non-denominational metaphysical teachings. And so her article, Palm Sunday, The Metaphysics of Holy Week, I found online at metaphysicalfoodforthought.com. So I have to give her credit because she did all the research on this. I'm going to bring it to you. Let's look at Let's look at the Saturday the Saturday before Palm Sunday is Lazarus Saturday. So this is when Jesus has been summoned to the town of Bethany because his friend Lazarus has been ill. And metaphysically, Bethany means wailing, the wailing of crying and cheer and grief. So Jesus was told that Lazarus was ill and to come right away. And but he waited 2 days, and then he had to walk to Bethany. By the time he got there, it had been 4 days. Lazarus had died and had been buried. And then in John chapter 11, 14 through 15 verses, then Jesus said to them plainly, they said Lazarus, meaning Lazarus, is dead. And I am glad that I was not there for your sakes, so that you may believe. So Jesus is saying, yeah, I'm glad he died. And so he knows there's a miracle to happen. And I imagine the people are feeling, what? We wanted you here to save him. So when Jesus arrives, he meets Martha, and continuing on verses 21 to 27 on John chapter 11. Then Martha said to Jesus, my Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now I know that whatever you ask God, he will give you. So Martha has faith. So even though he's dead, I know that maybe you can ask for something. It will be good. And Jesus said, your brother will rise up. And then Martha says, I know he will rise up in the resurrection of the last day. So it's kind of like, hey, Martha, you had all this faith, and then are you playing a little, are you playing a little coy here? I know you could help him, but yeah, my brother will rise up in the last day. But Jesus says, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, even though he dies, he shall live. And whoever is alive and believes in me shall never die. And this is Jesus speaking, not as Jesus the man. I am the resurrection and the life. It is the universal I am, the resurrection and the life. And that universal I am is what resides in all of us. So going along with this story, Jesus says, take away the stone. Did I not say to you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God? So he's saying, just wait. There's something here for all of us. So they took away the stone. Jesus lifted his eyes upwards and he says, O Father, I thank thee, for thou hast heard me. He doesn't beg and plead. He's claiming, I know you've heard me already. So I thank you that thou hast heard me, and I know that thou always nearest me. But I say these things just because of this people who stand around, so that they may believe that thou hast sent me. And then he cried out with a loud voice, Lazar, come out! And guess what? Lazarus came out of the cave. So this is a Saturday before Palm Sunday, and there's some takeaways here. I think the main takeaway is that arise, come out. This is the call of our own inner Christ to that we are more than our body, and to arise and come out. And Jesus had said he had the stone, he removed the stone. And what's the stone in our life? What is blocking us? What have we buried away or hidden away? Have we been singers? I mean, that's something I could ask myself. Are there talents that are in us that have not, that we've just pushed away? And it's really our Christ consciousness calling us to rise from our limitations and our error thoughts. All right, day 1. Day 2, let's look at Palm Sunday. That's what we're talking about also today. Well, Jesus and the disciples This is the Sunday. They are walking from Bethany, the wailing to wail. And they're going to go to the Mount of Olives, the place of prayer, in Jerusalem, which is the city of peace. They're entering the city of peace. And Jesus instructs his apostles, find me a colt of a young donkey. Because he's going to ride the donkey into Jerusalem. And the donkey represents, it's very humbling. He's not riding a big horse, he's riding a young donkey. And it represents meekness, also some stubbornness, some persistency and endurance. This is part of the Christ consciousness. The Christ consciousness doesn't leave us alone. If we're not listening to it, so this is the donkey, but also the Christ consciousness has dominion over our egoic self, our egoic nature, our feeling of, I know what to do in the world, and trying to do it without our spiritual nature. And remember when Jesus is entering Jerusalem, and the people come to greet him. They lay out all the palms. That's why it's called Palm Sunday. And this was to honor him. But the metaphysical meaning behind palms is unlimited resources. There's so many palms in the desert, by these oases. There's palm trees everywhere. And they also represent strength. The road that we walk on when we are walking with our Christ consciousness is filled with strength and unlimited resources. How wonderful is that? And the people shouted to Jesus, Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Well, let's look at that. What does that mean? Hosanna means save now. So they're asking, Christ consciousness, lift us out of our error thoughts, our limiting thoughts, save now. And then Hosanna to the Son of David. David means beloved of God. Did you know that? And we're all, that's the Christ nature, beloved of God. That is us. We are beloved. So we're saved, you could say we're saved from our error thoughts through our recognition of ourselves, that we are the beloved. And then blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Name is nature of the Lord. The Lord is the law, not just law, spiritual law. So we are blessed as we come in the nature, when we are attuned to spiritual law. These are some of the wonderful messages. And then he's entering into Jerusalem, the city of peace. And this is where the day where we're just coming over our troubles, because we have dominion over our limiting thoughts, our error thoughts, and we enter the city of peace. So are we doing that? Can we do that? How can we do that more? How can I have dominion over my error thoughts and enter the city of peace? Holy Monday. Holy Monday, this is when Jesus goes, he's at Jerusalem again, and he goes to the temple. Remember what happens at the temple? Oh, he sees all the sellers out there selling, they're buying, they're selling the animals for the sacrifices. And he overturned all the tables of the money changers. And he said, it is written, my house, meaning the temple, my house shall be called a house of prayer, but you are making it a den of thieves. Once the temple was cleared, the blind and the lame came to him, and he cured them. So on Holy Monday, Jesus cleansed the temple of his consciousness. How are you selling? Are we buying and selling things? Are we selling ourselves short in our consciousness? Jesus cleared that, and when he did that, he was free to heal. He was free to express the Christ nature, the wholeness of the divine within. So, that's the message is clean out the temple of your mind. And just don't cheat or shortchange. Stop cheating and shortchanging ourselves. That sounds like a good message for me. The other thing about this is that he was questioned by the Pharisees, and they were questioning his authority. By whose authority are you cleaning out this temple? And we learn at the because he knew his spiritual authority. So the teaching of the inner Christ, one of the things that we learn here, very important, is in our connection with we have a connection with our inner Christ consciousness. And this is the point of awareness, where the human knows itself as the divine, and the divine knows itself as God. But in that connection, we know our self-authority, our spiritual self-authority. Nobody outside can tell us who we are and what we're about, because we know through our inner knowing. So that is a very powerful part of the Holy Week. And on Holy Tuesday, he was speaking in parables, because the Pharisees are always trying to trap him with his words. So he spoke parables to describe the kingdom of God. He said, those with ears to hear, hear. Those with eyes to see, can see. Meaning you have to be willing to hear the voice of our own inner Christ self and to see the truth. And that also is, so are we ready? That's what Tuesday tells us. Are we ready to hear? Are we ready to go within and meditate and get our guidance from within versus the news or the situation we're in? I'm going to go through the rest quickly. I know it's so much information. It's wonderful to study this. So Tuesday, are we ready to see the spiritual truths? Wednesday of Holy Week is Spy Wednesday, because that's when Judas made all the arrangements to betray the Christ consciousness. And Judas metaphysically represents our unredeemed life forces. It's a part of us, he was running around with Jesus the Christ. He had the higher vision with him. He didn't quite trust it. Didn't quite believe enough in it. He still resorted to kind of a underhand method. And he sold out Jesus for 30 pieces of silver. So we can say, are we selling out to the material world? Are we feeling I can't do what my heart's true desire is because I don't have enough money, I'm too old, I'm too tired, whatever comes up? How are we limiting ourselves? How are we shortchanging ourselves? And how can we realign with our heart's true desires? So, and remember, there's divine order in everything. Even Judas was part of a divine order. So whatever the past has been, whatever we've done, whatever we're awakening from, it's part of the divine order. It doesn't have to hold us back. Maundy Thursday. Isn't that an interesting name? Maundy. That comes the word commandment. And this is the commandment Jesus gave. This is the Last Supper. This was on Thursday in the Garden of Gethsemane. But Jesus gave this commandment to his disciples. This is the commandment I give to you, to love one another as I have loved you. And the big takeaway from us is that to love all parts of ourselves, to recognize we are going through a transformational process. Our whole life is really seen in this Holy Week, the transformation of Jesus. We are transforming all the time. And can we love ourselves enough to love all the parts of us that are growing, that are refining. So love one another as I have loved you, meaning the I am loves us completely. And acknowledging our shadow side as part of us. I'm going to go to Good Friday now. The crucifixion and two thieves. This is, if you looked at Luke chapter 23, verses 32 to 43. I'm not going to read that, but there is these experiences of Jesus, the passion of Jesus, is also can represent our own resurrection, our own ascension process. And on the cross, there were the two thieves, and one was, you could say, one was concerned with the past, one was concerned with the future. And there were two sides, and one was concerned with human power, more of the future, and one was concerned, what's the spiritual spiritual power? So one of the one in the living in the past, the thief in the past who was on the cross with on the cross beside Jesus, says, I know I deserve what I'm getting because I know I've done a lot of negative things, however, you don't deserve this, Jesus. And so he identified with all the negative things that he did in the past. But the other thief said, what is going to happen to us in this experience? Well, he's concerned with the future. Jesus, the divine presence, is right in the middle. This is the here and now within us that says, today thou shalt be with me in paradise. Today. So this is, our Christ nature is that creativity that brings us to the eternal present. And paradise is in our own hearts and minds. It's our alignment with Christ consciousness. Gosh. And there's also purpose, then comes, let's see, what day is it? Still Good Friday. One more thing I want to tell you. So powerful. In the King James Version of the Bible, Jesus is quoted as saying during the crucifixion experience, why hast thou forsaken me? That's the King James Version. If you go to the Lamsa Bible, which is a direct translation, it's translated directly from the original Aramaic language. Jesus says, it is for this purpose that I was born. And we realize whatever we're going through, there is a purpose to our life, to our experience, to our growing. There is a purpose to our transformation. And so we can move from all the seeming betrayals, whether we think it's from the outside or a judgment of betraying ourselves. We can be renewed, this new practice of seeing, I am being transformed. I'm not a victim to the circumstance or what happened or the poor judgment, but I am a victorious vehicle of spirit. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. And you could say an adventure. And then Saturday, Easter Saturday, is the dark night of the soul. Jesus is in the tomb. This is where the transformation takes place. This is where the formed unforms and then is remade, reformed, transformed, something more. Like the the caterpillar, the chrysalis. They actually liquefy. That little caterpillar in the chrysalis actually liquefies, and then somehow a butterfly is made, and it cracks open. We've got from the caterpillar to this beautiful soaring butterfly. And Charles Fillmore wrote, the 3 days Jesus was in the tomb represents the 3 steps in overcoming error. First, there's non-resistance. Second, is the taking on the divine activity or receiving the will of God. And the third is the assimilation, the fulfillment of the divine will. I overcome resistance and step forward to claim the Christ in me. That's our takeaway. We overcome the resistance and we step forward to claim the Christ in me. So I encourage you to take time to contemplate these deeper meanings of the Holy Week as we lead into Christmas. How about Easter, the resurrection, and let's arise and come out, choose peace, claim our spiritual authority, open our ears and our eyes, trust our spiritual nature more. Remember to love one another as the Christ within us loves us. Know that our purpose, and honor the dark night of the soul, so that Christmas Day we arise in new consciousness. Who is coming? Our awareness of our Christ nature is here. Easter, not Christmas. Easter.
Okay.
That's okay. It's all good. You know what you meant. Did you take my program? Do you is it up here? Thank you. Thank you very much. And now we have the opportunity to share with the teaching of the inner Christ. And if you have found value in today's service, I invite you to assist us by supporting the teaching of the inner Christ as you are led, by visiting our website at teachingoftheinnerchrist.org with your donation. And there's a little on the home page. There's a little button up in the upper right-hand corner that says donations. And if you punch on that, it'll take you to the page where you can give a donation with your credit card or however you would like. And so if we'd like to hold our donation in our hands, we can say that we can trust completely in what Jesus the Christ promised us in Luke 6:38. Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will be put in your lap. For with the measure that you use it, it will be measured back to you. And so we say, thank you, wonderful God, for this. So it is. And I call the usher forward.